Hey everybody, welcome back to Guns and Gadgets, your premier source for Second Amendment news. I hope that your 4th of July, your Independence Day was fantastic. Still feeling it, as you can tell, red, white, and blue all day, every day. Are you familiar with the Micro Act? Well, I never thought that this would see the light of day, but I'm starting to hear whispers, so I'm going to make everybody aware of it. And then if you don't want America to turn into California when it comes to the gun control area, you need to watch this next episode. That's right, everybody, the Micro Act. This bill was submitted at the beginning of this congressional session in the beginning of January of 2019. And it's one of those bills that are possibly getting a second life here as we come to the close of the session, getting closer to election time. And it's one of those bills that they might actually, they being the anti-gunners, they might campaign on from what I am hearing. So I wanted to make everybody aware of this. Most of what this bill looks to do is basically turn America into California when it comes to gun control. And one of the reasons why I think that this bill is now getting a potential second shot at life, you might remember the video I did, and I'll put it right there, of the, 16 attorney generals, or attorneys general, I gotta say it right, otherwise you guys and gals call me on it, which I appreciate it, but the 16 attorneys general from around the country that said, hey, California has the right to do this microstamping stuff, and we believe that we can do it too. Remember that video? If you didn't watch that, please do, because it gives a whole lot more information, like a prerequisite course for this video here. This bill was introduced January 23rd of 2019 by Maryland Representative Anthony Brown. It currently sits in the Committee of Crime, Terrorism, and Homeland Security, which is the same place that the registration bill I told you about the day before yesterday sits. So maybe this committee is starting to be organized to start moving these bills, because this is the second bill in the same week that I heard of that, hey, you might want to let people know about this. So here we are. So we're talking about House Resolution 719, HR 719. The title is the Make Identifiable Criminal Rounds Obvious Act, or the Micro Act. And what it looks to do, let's give a quick little summary of this, is it wants to take California's microstamping law and basically initiate it almost word for word on the national level. Any firearm that would be made 2 years, if this was to pass, say it was to pass today, then 2 years from today's date, anybody to manufacture, import, or transfer a semi-automatic pistol would have to have the ability to microstamp the make, model, or serial number of that firearm onto every single cartridge fired in 2 places. What 2 places? The firing pin and the breech face. And for those who are new to the community, the breech face is that flat area surrounding where the firing pin pokes out of. And when you pull the trigger and the gun goes bang, the recoil process and the expanding gases slam that casing against the breech face, which if you look at it, sometimes you get breech face markings on pistols you're using today. So the markings that would be the make, model, and serial number of the firearm would have to be transferred during that process, as well as the firing pin striking the primer. And it also looks to make it a federal offense to obliterate or remove those numbers, unless you have a damaged firing pin which needs to be replaced. But this would be, as of right now, this technology as they're requiring does not exist. Why? Because if I am a gun maker, pick one, CZ. Okay, if I'm making 1 million guns a year, then I would have to individually cast or figure out a way to have each and every single serial number that I put on a firearm, again, obviously it's different for every gun, would have to imprint that on the breech face as well. In order to make an impression, it would probably have to be raised, and then you're taking the stock you've already made of firing pins, so you have to remake those and put the same matching number on those. It's a very expensive idea, and one that could be very detrimental to companies. Not every company can afford to just implement, a couple $100 million worth into the R&D and get things the way that a couple clowns want it. So that would, if this were to go into effect, this would turn every state into California. There are also a couple penalties in here. Us on the user end, if we said, again, 2 years after, if this were to go into effect, if we had a firearm that we had purchased and it didn't make those impressions, how would they find out? I'll tell you how they'll find out, because that's key to this. Then you would have a $5,000 fine, but if it was at the FFL level, they could be shut down for 6 months, a suspension or a revocation of their license by the Attorney General. Now, the bad part, the secret weapon here, is the same thing in California, is that in order to be able to pick up a casing and take those numbers and enter it into a database and see who owns this firearm, it has to be registered. And this is a backdoor Firearm Registry Act, is what it should be called. It really should be called the BDFRA Act, because that's what it is. It's a backdoor firearms registration. Because, again, you can't pick up any casing right now and say, this belongs to Bob Smith from Cedarville, Ohio, if there is even a Cedarville, Ohio. But you get what I'm saying. They're selling this as a way, as if you believe the title, which you should never do on a bill, because it's usually the exact opposite. But it says, Make Identifiable Criminal Rounds Obvious Act. So that's the round of a criminal, a murder. But it has to register everybody to do that, and criminals are going to deface the damn firearm. They do it now already. So this looks to drastically reduce the amount of available options for us, those of us who follow the Constitution, because the criminals are going to do what they do anyway. So if this ever were to pass, which we have to make sure it doesn't, then the amount of firearms will shrink, because not every company is going to be able to do this. So we need to get on our representatives. This is a House resolution, so it's a House of Representatives bill. I'll have a link down below so you can find out who your representative is. Right now there are 39 co-sponsors on this bill. You can see them in the link below as well. It's a list of who's who for anti-gunners. HR719, link will be down below, as well as a link to find out who your representative is. It is time to start calling. It is time for us, the gun community, the gun culture, to rally together to make sure that these type of things that they're trying to sneak in under the cover of darkness never see the light of day. This is a registration, plain and simple. And microstamping doesn't exist. So they're looking to take away guns like crazy. And once this, fairyland, if this were ever to pass and become law, you don't think that they're going to do the next step like they're trying to do right now in California? For every one gun that meets these requirements, 5 come off the list to be able to be purchased. That's exactly what they're going to do. So get on the horn, call them now. I know it's Sunday. Call them tomorrow morning. Numbers will be available through that link down below. Thank you all for your time. I hope you had a fantastic Independence Day. I just want to thank my viewers, you guys and gals. Really, you don't realize the drive that you all create. This channel does not happen without you, so my hat is off to you. Thank you so much for your support. If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, please do, because you, the viewer, are the lifeblood of this channel. You're the infrastructure, and without you, this crumbles. And the anti-gunners would love to see this channel go away. So please hit that subscribe button, hit that like so more people see the video, share it with some friends, and until we see each other again, be safe, stay vigilant, and carry your weapon. Long live America. Take care, everybody.